Can't see anything on this. Peace and blessings, family. I said it was gonna be around 9:30. Uh, but I got a lot of stuff to do, and I just thought that I'd come in a little earlier. I want to wait just a short couple seconds for people to join in. I don't know. So I told people earlier that I was gonna go live and share some words from my grandfather, Minister Louis Farrakhan. I was blessed to be with him this weekend in Miami. My grandmother, Mother Khadija, my auntie, a lot of different family, my father, so on. So I'm not going to be long. I just wanted to share with you this experience that I had with my grandfather. So for the past like several years, I've been kind of nervous, like very nervous going around my grandfather because I haven't been the best grandson that I would like to be, and being related to him and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, people always expect his family to be a certain way, and not considering that that the condition of all of us is the same, and we come from the same neighborhoods, the same hoods. There's drug addiction, there's alcoholism, there's lesbianism, and all kind of different things. Same things that's in the world is in my family. And so a lot of people like to think that our family, because we're related to this purified man, that we automatically should be in a purified state. But he had to sacrifice his family, so he didn't have time to be with us. He had to be out in the world. And we would love to have our grandfather there, but our grandfather was always with the people. My dad was always with the people. It's long story short. So so for the past several years, I've been very kind of nervous being around my grandfather, like very, 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 very nervous, because I haven't been in the best frame of thought all the time, And just to make a long story short, I was with him one day at the farm, and I used to live at the farm with him, and one day it's just me and him sitting in the living room, and my grandfather is just sitting down, and it's just me and him in the living room. And so out the blue, my grandfather says, he says, my ability to listen to people's thoughts has improved, or to pick up on the thinking of people's thoughts, or to hear their thoughts has improved. He says this just out the blue. So me, not being as spiritual or on that kind of purified state, of course I felt really scared, and I actually got up and walked out the room really slow, let me ease up out of here, right? So my dad called me this Friday or Saturday, no, it was about Thursday, and was like, we're going to be in Miami. We're coming back from Cuba. I want you to come by and see Grandpa. So usually when he tells me that, I just get super nervous. I start trying to find reasons that, okay, I'm going to be busy. I got to try to find a way to get in and get out quick, right? So because I'm scared because of the guilt from sin, from doing wrong things, and just not following the laws of Islam as I should, it makes me very nervous, because plus I know how nothing gets by him. So that night, I said, you know what? I got to stop this. I have to change. Something has to change. Something has to change. So I said a prayer to myself, a small prayer, and to Allah, and I was like, asking Allah, like, when is this going to end? This fear, this, help me to get through this. And then this thought came in my head, and it said, do your rak'ahs in the morning, which is the Muslim way of prayer where we do an actual motion. We stand up, then we go to our knees, and we go all the way down, do a whole cycle, like a system of prayers. And so it came to my head to do it 19 times. Like, I didn't plan it, just the number 19 popped in my mind. Soon as it popped in my mind, I felt a release of pressure. I felt a release of fear. Like, damn, like, why 19? I knew there was something significant with that number, but I didn't remember because Mother Tainetta always would teach on the number 19, and I couldn't remember. So I went to sleep kind of happy, and I woke up and I was like, it's prayer time. So I went into the prayer room. First I took my full shower, then I go to the prayer room. And in the prayer room, I got on the prayer rug. I started doing my rak'ahs. When you do your Fajr prayer, you're only really supposed to do, well, you can do more, but it's required that you do 2 rak'ahs. So I started doing my rak'ahs. I got to 8, I got to 9, I got to 10, got to 11. The more I'm doing these prayers, I started to feel stronger and stronger. I started to feel like the fear, leave, to a degree, like I knew I was going to be okay. So I got to 19, my form for the prayer, like the structure, that like my whole energy started to line up inside of me to where I felt different. I knew something had happened. I just knew it because it was a whole different feeling. So I'm still nervous, but on the way I'm driving from Orlando to Miami. It's a 3.5, 4 hour drive. I get down there, I'm like, okay, all right. I feel good, but I'm still nervous because I've always been very scared to go around Pops, really scared. Sometimes I would shake like, oh shit, let me get out of here. So I get to the room, we get to the hotel. My grandfather's coming out of a meeting. We walk back to the hotel room, and now we're inside the room, and I'm waiting in the hallway. The E-team is around. My grandfather is over here. He has his back to me, and my family's in the room. So I'm standing in the hallway, behind him, and I got my head down, and my heart is just pacing. And so I'm calling on Allah. I'm just praying oh Allah, please let me be in the best of spirit and the best of respect to your servant. And I just want to be clear-minded, clear heart. And I'm just praying like that. And but I'm scared to be around him because I've been in and out of the world. I haven't been the best Muslim that I could be. Just being real with you. So as I'm praying to Allah, I'm tucking my head. I'm using all my energy. I'm praying. And my grandfather's right here. I know any second I'm going to have to walk over here. And I'm he's right here. And I'm just oh my God. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. And I'm praying to Allah. And as I'm praying to Allah to strengthen me, it was I would feel this connection to him, and then it would leave, and it would make me rely on something that was inside of me to get the strength. And I would feel a boost of strength. Then it would leave, and so then I would pray to Allah. And once I sent it up, I felt better, and it was almost like he was telling me, focus within you. It was channeled back into me to find the strength within me, it was like the fear started to be relieved, like the anxiety, all of that stuff. Like, it was crazy. It was like as I'm praying to Allah, I would be focusing on God, and then He would make me focus back in me. I swear to God. So I'm like bugging out, and then now it's like I gotta walk to see my grandfather right here. So they say, Elijah, come in here. So my grandfather is like this. I'm coming from behind him, and I walk right here, and he looks up at me, and he said, are those thighs on your arm? He called my arm a thigh, right? And so right then and there, the ice bro, I was so scared. And then he made a joke. I just started busting up laughing. He started laughing. And I was able to sit down, and just that whole fear that I had built up from being wrong in my life, from falling out of Islam and returning back to the street. You know, where the Quran says, behold, the dog returns to his vomit. I kept returning back to that old way. I kept returning back to that devilish way that I know was failure in the street. And I kept abandoning myself. And doing that, you know, Brother Dwayne in Chicago, he said, every time you leave Islam, you come back with luggage. And whenever we leave the light of Islam and return to the world that we was being cleansed of, you come back with a whole bunch of more sin and more problems to deal with. So it's like the minister said, when you leave the earth's atmosphere, you have to go through fire to get out of the atmosphere. And then when you come back in the earth's atmosphere, you have to go through fire to get back in. So I came back into the mosque with more problems, more guilt, more shame, all of that. So anyhow, what happened was, and this is the beautiful part, I was tearing up because I was just so thankful to Allah that I could sit around my grandfather, even though I know I'm dirty. I was just thankful that I could sit around my family again, because I've been running from my family, man, and sitting there with Mother Khadija and Auntie BJ and Auntie Karen and the chef, you know, Sister Mary Ellis, who is like another mother to me, and just sitting around them and smelling the fresh bean soup that was being made from his chef, and the food right there. I just was so thankful to Allah. I said to myself, I will never, ever leave this again. Ever leave this again. And so I'm sitting down. I had posted a picture of me. I was kind of doing like a selfie thing. I snuck it because my grandfather was at the dinner table and he was sitting over here, and it was me and my Auntie Maria, and I kind of went like this so you could see him. My grandfather's in the back and he has his hand like this. So I was sitting right there later on in the evening, and my grandfather had finished having dinner with Minister B.I. and Thomas Jihad, I believe his name is, and Minister Patrick. And they were all standing up around the table. I was sitting far off. And he was saying things to them. And then what caught me was, I was listening, but this like hit me so hard, because he said, he was talking to the ministers. He's sitting here, they're like over here, they're standing up. So he was saying, he said, Allah said to us, pray to me and I will answer you. Pray to me, I will answer you. And he's saying this to the ministers. He said that Allah said that he is closer to us than our life vein, your jugular vein. He said, I'm closer to you than your life vein. So the minister says, you know, they were standing this close. He said, this is close. He said, but Allah's closer to you than this, you know, this short distance. He said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he says, if I were to kiss you on your neck, that's even closer. Then he said, if I was to whisper in your ear, that's even closer. Or he said one of the other first. So then after that, he said, Allah said he's closer to you than your life vein. Then he paused and he said, he's trying to let you know that he's inside of you. And so when he said that, because how close, if you closer to me than my life vein, there's no closer than that. So if Allah says he's closer to you than your life vein, he said Allah is trying to tell you, I am inside of you. So it made me to think, when he says greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Because me being in the world, I became weak. And then striving to get back into Islam, I was able to say my prayers with the help of Allah and feel this sense of strength that Allah was letting me to see was inside of me to overcome my fears and my difficulty. Because you can say what you want, but if you're scared to be around the servant of Allah, if you're scared to be around him and you have to walk around him, that's scary, man. That's real scary. But when he says that he's trying to tell you that he's inside you, and I started to feel like this whole experience that I had just earlier that day was confirmation when the minister said that. So the point is, we are like that poem, the footsteps or the footprints in the sand, where the individual had thought that God abandoned him because he only saw one footprint in the sand. But then God answers at the end and says, it was then that I carried you. So the power that we need to overcome any obstacle, man, whether it's alcohol, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's fornication, whether it's adultery, whether it's lying, whether it's stealing, whether it's eating the wrong food, whether it's being abusive, whether it's thinking improperly, the God is already built into us. And all we have to do is go after the God through prayer, through sacrifice, through cleansing our mind. Because in science it says that something in motion tends to stay in motion unless it's met with an equal or greater force. Well, if my mind is full of Satan's thoughts, then the only thing powerful, more powerful than the way of the world, is the God that's within. So we have to dig within us, and that's all that all that I wanted to say is that we don't have to fear like we think, man. We don't have to, struggle in that way that's not productive. When we have something in our life, all we have to do is turn to Allah, man, and pray, because them prayers I prayed in the name. When I finished my rakats, I prayed in the name of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, and I prayed in the name of his exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I prayed in the name of the Jesus among us, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And my mother said her father, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, told her, if you ask for anything in my name when you pray, then you will receive it. If you ask in my name. So if we ask in their names, man, I just wanted to share that with y'all, because when the minister says that Allah is in you, that God is in us, man. He's in us. So may Allah bless you all, and thank you. I just had to share that because I hope it's of use for somebody, you know, to use that information, because if you trying to get off of drugs, can't nobody get you off the shit but you. If you battling alcohol, bad food, Allah said, you take a step towards him, he'll take 2 or 3, or I think he said more than that, towards you. But he said that he will not change the condition of a people unless the people change themselves. Get what I'm saying? So may Allah bless us and to pull in on strength, you know, through prayer and through sacrifice. Thank you. I just wanted to share that with you. And may Allah continue to bless you. Assalamu alaikum.